All right, moving back to track 4, we're going a little bit backwards in time to their 2004 release, Summer in Abaddon, on Rogue Records. This was another pick of mine. This is AFK, and I had to actually, I have a theory, but Brett or Sean, I'll throw it out to see if you know what AFK maybe stands for, or if that's an acronym that you use. I just learned it, but any ideas of what that might mean?
Oh yeah,
What is
yeah.
it?
It's away from keyboard.
Okay, so I knew you'd know that, but I won't say why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a term we often use in gaming or on networks. If you're trying to ping somebody and they're not responding, it means they're away from keyboard.
There you go. I did not know that. And I was like, who is this person AFK and where it's not, but he's saying,
I can't respond to you right now.
Mhm.
Like meaning I see your message, but I'm AFK. I can't spend a lot of time giving you the response that you need for the question you've got.
Yeah. And there might be, as I'm recognizing that, a different way of listening to the lyrics of
Mm-hmm.
that they introduce in here. I picked this song too. This is one of my favorites, but it opens up with some unique lyrics where I think Zach, when they play it live, starts with the we're too late, we're too late. And then it jumps into this no one uses the phone anymore. The video that you'll see that we selected to on this is, I think, probably the official video because it's the band actually singing to the lyrics and being playful with yelling into actual phones and stuff like that. No one uses the phone anymore. Miles of telephone poles. There was just this commentary of how we communicate these days. The real one of the real reasons I love this song is the way the lyrics towards the end really create this like romanticism. And I miss you, and not in a Slint way, which is like a reference to this awesome other band Slint that has influenced a lot of bands. Um, and I miss you, and I can't talk to you anymore, and I miss you. And I thought that there was just Pinback lyrics don't always ring in my head as other than this is the number, please look it over. But this one, in a very meaningful way, felt romantic and heartfelt. Not that there aren't other heartfelt lyrics, but it just connected through my brain right away. Information retrieved, so to speak. I heard you and you miss this person, and I can feel it. And the way the song kind of drifts into that part about how I miss you, and the reference to a cool band in there too. I think it's just, I can't say I've ever really listened to Slint. I just keep hearing that name, and I think that's cool. It now becomes my side project to go dig into that reference. I've always liked the song AFK 2004. This is an album that when Summer and I first met in 2003, we think we got to see Pinback off of this album. And I want to say it was probably in Phoenix or Tucson, but we both remembered seeing them live, although we couldn't remember if we saw them live together. But we both know that we saw them live around this era. And it was a great show. I remember that and being locked into Zach's bass playing, but also just really feeling like that live sound that these guys pulled together was pretty amazing to be a part of. And this song, I remember them playing and being kind of real jammy right up front. And then it just slowly drifted and faded away towards the end, which was a memory of mine and one that I share with Summer, maybe although in different locations at the same time. But so that was AFK for me. Shawnee, we'll start with you on where that landed for you.
Yeah, you can go to a show with Grant, but he's not going to know you're there because he's watching the bass player on, tunnel vision.
It's probably
And it makes
true.
sense.
That's true.
It makes sense why you'd do that. Yeah, this song, I think, really unique. It's the chorus has got this kind of shouty urgency, and then it's got these classy transitions to more melodic sections. Typical driving backbeat. The bridge feels really thoughtful and composed. And so it makes for this pretty strong contrast, I think, to the other part where it's like commanding action verbs in the chorus, that they're shouting out. It's almost sort of like militaristic in the way it's constructed. So I liked the way the percussion was a little bit more prominent as well. And so it kind of created this urgency. So the song just like is packed with power, and I like that a lot. The lyrics I had never looked at until the project, and I found it to be pretty interesting. I think I didn't really realize how maybe kind of computer oriented they are. Maybe I should have known that from the Blue Screen Life title, but that was kind of a new insight for me from looking at the lyrics. Because like I said, I never really looked at Pinback lyrics along the way. I just have always been a fan of the band from the musical landscape. So this was a nice return back. It's like going back to your hometown and seeing things that you didn't see when you're a kid, because now you've got, adult perspective and you're going back to a familiar place, but you find new things that, going back to this song felt a little bit that way for me. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love it as well. And Grant, I think you tossed it straight to us about AFK and the concept of AFK. And this is, thinking about the time, 2004, this was pre esports, though there were games that you could play against other humans online. I was playing StarCraft as early as 1997, 1998, where I would dial into a server literally on dial-up and then connect and play against other people. And so that sort of thing evolved, of course, with the .com bubble, which was going strong in 2004. And I think that there was a lot more fear of disconnection and also a lot of real disconnection from people being isolated in their own rooms, whether they were programmers or gamers or whatever they were doing it isolated and in their own narrow environments. So I think that this song kind of hits it on the head there. And I do like everything you're saying there, Sean, in terms of the yelling, sort of screaming with urgency. Grant, I think you said right at the beginning, like the song has a sense of urgency. And I think it is a cautionary story around like, don't get isolated. Don't, like, I hear Dad's voice saying, don't stay up too late. Like, make sure you get some sleep, make sure you do other things than just play games. And again, pre-esports, pre-even Twitch or, influencers on social media. I mean, again, 2004 was before Facebook really had much of a huge grasp on how we all connected. There was a lot of like content out there and not a whole lot of engagement. I think things have changed in 20 years where there is a lot more engagement. I mean, us making this podcast, it wouldn't have been possible 20 years ago in the same way that we're making it right now, where we're synchronized over in 3 different states. So those sorts of things are kind of interesting to look at. The song itself is definitely one of my favorites. It was among the top 3 that I had on my list. Good to see just happened to get more of my attention, and I wanted to talk about that drum beat. I kind of love the way that we keep naming the different sonic sides of what Pinback is, who they are. I think that that's one of the most interesting things. And at some point, I'd love to look across all of their albums, and I'm interested in like breaking down each album and understanding like what was happening in their lives and what was the influence. Similar to what you were saying, Grant, like I'd love to know where some of these lyrics came from, and like if they ever did like a full dissect on this band, I think it would be really, really interesting to break down all those pieces. So this particular song is right up there. And I had never seen the music video, so that was a really cool treat to see a kid in a room sending Morse code, which is a more analog way of connecting, and then this transition that they're yelling about, which is like nobody's doing that anymore. Nobody does just the old ways of communicating, which is not true. But it is true that the majority of people have forgotten to use, real telephones, and definitely don't know how to read Morse code or understand Morse code when it's sent. So all that kind of stuff is really, really interesting to me. I think it's good content to talk about. And yeah, I think Pinback's a great band to do it.
Yeah, right on. You said 20 years since the album came out, and they had they did some shows in Southern California at the end of last year. Just like 4 of them, it looks like, on their website for the Summer and Abaddon 20th anniversary. It's strange because it keeps happening, and it's going to keep happening probably, where albums that are 20, 30, whatever years old now become a tour, and bands, and we get to experience that again. So they didn't really do a full tour on this, but I think this album is one of my favorite Pinbacks, although I think there's chapters. I like that word that you said there, Brett. What's interesting to try to get in these guys' heads and learn a little bit more, their website, pinback.com, has a whole bunch of videos that unfortunately a lot of the links are broken, but one of them that isn't broken is like a 26-minute Pinback Euro Tour 2011. But there's really not a lot of talking. It's just walking around Europe there, and then somebody drops a suitcase there. It's just like you're there with them, but No one's really like, you're on tour and there's the boring parts of the tour and this is what they're showing. So it was fun to just be like, oh, that's cool. And I watch it, staring at it, wondering what it's like. And then the not super attractive parts of being on tour were on display while a lot of waiting around and stuff like that. Anyway, Pinback, they have this unassuming way of just, we're putting out music. AFK was one that's I've always enjoyed doing. I did have to look up, what is Abaddon? Is that some like place that people go for summer? And I don't think it's a place that exists in the real world. It says that it's a Hebrew word that refers to a place of destruction or an angel of the abyss. So it sounds like hell or destruction. So remembering that summer there is an interesting sort of, you could go down a giant wormhole of when was this referenced? But to name the album that, as opposed to sing it in as a bit of the chorus, kind of, if you want to call it that, in this song. So I miss you, not in this little way, not in this slint kind of way. So that's AFK, and we're going to let you spin it. You'll get to see the official video if you're on YouTube here. This is from their Summer and Abaddon 2004 release on Road Records. Here's AFK.